I don't understand what Subtle said at all. I changed the question and asked, "We Earthlings have also observed your flying saucers. Discover. Your flying saucers often accelerate suddenly and violently. The forces on the passengers are also tremendous. I want to ask you, how do you relieve the stress on the passengers in the saucer? Or is your body more special? Can fight hundreds of times more than people on Earth. Thousands of times the force." Subtle explained. UFOs fly with zero mass or tiny masses. The force on the passenger inside is acceleration times mass. When the mass is zero, no matter how big the acceleration is, passenger forces are still zero or minimal. UFO zero quality or close to O. Collision force with other objects. Friction is zero or very small. The nature of friction. It's also a collision between tiny particles. This is a flying saucer flying in the air above your planet. The reason for no sound. I seem to understand. Keep asking. How do you make a flying saucer? Or how are flying saucers made? Do you want to go back to Earth and build a flying saucer? Willie asked me. You made a flying saucer. So, I could get on a flying saucer and run around. Right? Subtle laughed at Willie. If Brother Qian is driving, accidentally ran to Mars near their Earth, I don't know how to get back. That's a big problem. Then Brother Qian might as well live on Mars. Willie said sarcastically. If Qian had a girlfriend on Earth, they're in trouble. They can only miss each other sadly. They often have scenes like this in their movies. Really? I don't have a girlfriend. I don't want to go to Mars either. I wanted to counter their taunts, but held back. Norton said that, with the strength of Brother Qian alone. How is it possible to build a flying saucer? If he had mastered the flying saucer principle, and people on their planet believed his theory, Earthlings will go crazy and invest their strength to develop flying saucers, just like the Earthlings developed the atomic bomb. Only so, it is possible for the Earth to create a flying saucer. So how much does it cost to develop a flying saucer? And you on Earth? The cost of developing an atomic bomb is about the same. Norton replied, impossible. When the money is cut back, tell his fellow Earthlings. What's up with the flying saucer? How do you make a flying saucer? And guess what? His fellow Earthlings would say, oh, where did the madman come from? Subtle continued to mock. I thought Subtle's words were harsh. But this possibility is the greatest. So your flying saucer must carry a lot of energy. What kind of energy do you use? And Norton said, nuclear neutron energy. Don't forget. It's inertial flight over long distances. No energy required. It just starts to take off with zero mass. It takes a lot of energy to transform the state of spacetime. When flying saucers take off from our planet, we start with external electrical energy or field energy. Significantly reduces the mass of the flying saucer to a tiny amount. And your flying saucer? Why is it made into a round plate? Which direction does the flying saucer fly in? What does the power system of a flying saucer look like? What's going on? Can you briefly tell me? UFOs, actually. Similar to particle accelerators on your Earth. The circular part of the edge of the flying saucer is a ring gun. Inside is the flow of charged particles around. These charged particles are of the same electric charge. Mutually exclusive, so the density doesn't increase. Let these charged particles move around at high speed. Can convert electric fields into magnetic fields. And in doing so, you increase the density of the charge. Small flying saucer. The door usually opens at the bottom of the flying saucer. If it is opened on the side, disrupts the saucer's surround stream of charged particles. Large UFO. Usually carry high-power human factory scanning equipment. Scan UFO shell. Leave the saucer shell in an excited state. Enable personnel to enter and exit directly from the saucer housing. Generally, there is no need to leave the door behind. When flying at the speed of light, the direction of motion is perpendicular to the surface of the saucer and satisfies a right-handed helix relationship. Imagine we hold a flying saucer with our right hand, 4 fingers around the direction, and the direction of the circumferential edge line of the flying saucer. That is, the direction of motion of the charged particles inside. Consistent. Then the direction of the thumb is the direction of movement of the flying saucer. If a flying saucer were to land above your planet, it's kind of quasi-excited. Can fly at any speed less than the speed of light. It can also be done manually and through computer programs. Drive together. Its flight direction. It can go in any direction along the side of the saucer. I asked again that the flying saucer was over our Earth. Is it installing a normal engine? Like our airplanes on Earth. Stir the air to fly. No, our approach is transition a flying saucer from a quasi-excited state to an excited state. To move a flying saucer at the speed of light. But the set flight time is extremely short. After making the flying saucer fly a tiny distance, back to quasi-excited state. Transition from quasi-excited state to excited state. Flying a tiny distance. UFO is like this. Repeatedly switching flight states to fly. The flight is also programmed. Or auxiliary control. UFOs fly over your Earth in this way. From the outside, UFOs can fly at any speed. It shows no inertia. You can turn at right angles. It's extremely mobile. The trajectory of flight is in the eyes of you Earthlings. Seems strange. What is the driving force behind a flying saucer? How to make a flying saucer move at the speed of light? Or how to make the mass of the flying saucer become zero? I'm still trying to figure this out. The power system of a flying saucer. The basic principle is mutual conversion of electromagnetic field and attractive force field. When a magnetic field is perpendicular to a curved surface, when the magnetic field changes, it can be produced surrounding linear electric field along the edges of a curved surface, and a linear attractive force field. And at some point, due to the isospatial nature of space and time, it can also be said that at a certain point in space, changing magnetic field and the resulting attractive force field, and the electric field changes perpendicular to each other. Electromagnetic fields are generated by moving electric charges. The attractive force field generated by moving charges is a continuous distribution. The attractive force field generated by gravity is centered on a point. Symmetric distribution. How to put a continuously distributed attractive force field. Become a point symmetric attractive force field. And that's really the point. And Sudair answered for me. Then Norton told me. The electromagnetism of your Earth scientist Faraday. Magnetotransformion uses the mutual conversion of electricity and magnetism. Make electricity on your Earth. It was used on a massive scale. Have had a profound impact on you Earthlings. Faraday said that changing a magnetic field generates a vertical electric field. In fact, in the other vertical direction. And an attractive force field. This time, changing magnetic field. The attractive force of the electric field is perpendicular to each other. The flying principle of flying saucers. Just take advantage of mutual conversion of electromagnetic field and attractive force field. Changing electromagnetic fields can produce positive and negative attractive force fields. In particular, the attractive force field on the object can reduce the mass of the object. can be reduced all the way to zero, as long as the mass of the object becomes zero. In the excited state, must have suddenly moved at the speed of light. This is why flying saucers can travel at the speed of light. Massive electricity consumption on your planet. We don't have electricity on the planet. Use artificial field scanning for changes. Positive and negative attractive force field generated by electromagnetic field. They work together under computer control. It's called manual field scanning. If you Earthlings master the mutual transformation of electromagnetic field and attractive force field, not only can you make light-speed flying saucers, human factory scanning technology can also be born. Human factory scan. It's not just making things zero mass. Move at the speed of light to create a flying saucer. And many other incredible applications. Among them are large-scale cold welding in the construction industry, healing diseases under computer control, can produce instant vanishing motion. We can build a global movement. You can build convergent solar receivers, access to cheap clean energy, etc. Human factory scan. You can also make many products that change time and space. You can create virtual buildings and light virtual human bodies. It can process information. It can read and store people's consciousness. It allows people to pass directly through the brain at a distance. Communicate with each other. Norton, these explanations they gave me, I don't quite understand. There are a lot of flying saucer questions I don't ask anymore. So you often fly UFOs like this? To explore other planets? Yes, you Earth, we have come many times. Norton confirmed my guess. You are also our long-term investigation object.